Do you struggle with a loss of appetite and insomnia when you've attempted to be sober? Well, I'm going to actually give you a different perspective than you've maybe considered in the past when it comes to those things. So, when people usually smoke marijuana and they smoke it on a daily basis, it's because they're going through some kind of stressor or conflicts in their life that they struggle to deal with. This could be anything, but it could also just be anxiety, depression, stress on the job, stress in the relationship, stress just in general with their own belief in their own performance, self confidence issues, and so on. The list is really endless at the end of the day because how we feel is unique to ourselves. We all have our different experiences in life. So, really, where is the issue here when it comes to, the whole aspect of a loss of appetite? Well, usually when somebody has a loss of appetite, there is some sort of stressors in their life that are not resolved. And when stress comes into our life, it can actually affect our digestion overall, from the stomach to the large and small intestine. There's a lot of studies that have been done on this over the years, and people that have a lot of stress in their life or difficult things or obstacles they feel they cannot overcome on their own, they tend to also have some sort of digestive issues and IBS type symptoms. So their life in general is stressful, and because of that, everything in your body performs less optimally. And when you don't perform as well, things like your digestion will slow down, thus leading you to not having such a good appetite as you wish you would. Now let's pair that with even self-confidence issues, because sometimes a single issue can stack to other things. If you feel like you are on the slender side and you want to put on some weight, and you're always smoking to eat more, yet when you've been sober in the past, you lose your appetite, it can be a real reminder that you're not happy the way that you look physically. So there's all kinds of stressors in life. And when you deal with those at the subconscious level, there's no more thoughts dinging around in your mind when it comes to those issues, when it comes to those stressors. Anxiety doesn't exist for you. Depression doesn't exist for you. There's not this negative self-talk and so on. So by dealing with the main issue, your appetite will actually get better overall. So when you're sober, that is your opportunity to start facing those issues that are in your life that you've been pushing under the rug, that you've been trying to avoid. Whether you're trying to do that on purpose because you don't want to deal with it, or that you feel that you're not capable of doing it. Whatever that is for you, you have to deal with those issues for your body to start performing more optimally. Now let's carry that over into the sleep aspect as well, because stress in our lives can really affect our sleep cycle. So how can stress impact us, and how do we know that stress affects our sleep? Well, a lot of the people that find themselves struggling to get in bed at a decent time have this monkey chatter brain. Their brain is just ticking away at all the insecurities or all the issues that are in their life, from big things to, did I lock the front door, small things. And then, they obviously go to sleep and they might wake up between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning, or their brain is just going at 1,000 miles per hour. And there's all these thoughts and feelings that are coming up. They're dreading going to work. They don't like their life. They have all these problems that they're thinking about. And they feel that very deeply, and they can't just shut off and relax. And so that's kind of a very understandable reason why a lot of people turn to marijuana, is it helps you dissociate from the pain that's in your life, whether you're sober or not sober. But by dealing with your own issues, by dealing with your own insecurities and your fears of either facing things in your life or changing things in your life, your whole physiology will start presenting itself differently. You'll start walking more tall. You'll start feeling more confident in yourself because your life is not that stressful and you've gotten through things that at one point you may have felt you're not capable of getting through. And so that's where a loss of appetite and insomnia actually really is a part of withdrawal symptoms, which really it's just emotionally based. And by dealing with the addiction of marijuana in a session with me, and then we have 2 available sessions left over for withdrawal symptoms because those are also emotional in nature. That's why those things happen in most cases. So mood swings even in your life that come up from withdrawal symptoms are just a sign that you've been ignoring yourself for so long. Your body's trying to play catch up with all of the different things you've been escaping. So you'll have highs and you'll have lows and you'll just be getting ripped around, it feels. It can be very humbling. It can be very difficult to stay motivated to stay sober when you're experiencing stuff like that. So really, what's the cost going forward if you don't deal with this? Because I'm sure on some level you've maybe tried some deep breathing exercises, meditation, yoga, or you've gotten into journaling or talk therapy or something along those lines to try and help you cope with these issues in your life. But if it didn't resolve the issue at its core, then it's just going to continuously be something that is a theme in your life. Sure, you can talk about your problems and it'll help you because you're feeling heard maybe for the first time. But at the same time, you'll still have that anxiety. You'll still have that depression. You'll still have that anger because you haven't dealt with it at the core. You haven't gotten to the root of the issue and allow yourself to be free of it. You're just postponing the inevitable, which is either your body starts to rebel and you experience these withdrawal symptoms, or you start facing these conflicts in your life because your body is really an amazing thing at the end of the day here. It's communicating to you what it needs you to understand for its survival. And when your body communicates to you and you choose to ignore it, you choose to escape and cope and dissociate by just rolling up that joint or grinding away with that grinder as quick as you can, just so you can get that another high, just so you can escape the stressors of your life, your body isn't going to just let it go because you haven't dealt with the issue. And it is up to your body to survive. Therefore, it's going to come up as a theme every single opportunity that it feels it can get through to you. So that could be at 3 a.m. in the morning. That could be a panic attack at work. That could be stress of just going outside and socializing with other people. It could be anything. And if you've tried different things in your life to resolve these issues, yet you find that that issue is still there, then it's subconscious. It's a habit at this point that you're just not aware of. You're not aware of really what is the problem because you could resolve it if you did. You would know this problem is my problem, and if I do this, that will take care of it. And so that overwhelm and that frustration of not being able to fix your own issues is often why people just stay in this vicious cycle of smoking marijuana, being sober, and then convincing themselves to go back to smoking again when they had just convinced themselves that they needed to get sober in the first place. And that right there is the difference. That is the oscillating back and forth of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. You are in conflict not only with yourself, but within your life in general. So for the clients that I do see, about 90% of them have no withdrawal symptoms because we're dealing with all these different emotional components that are just beyond the weed aspect of I want to quit weed. We get into when I was 12, I got upset at my mom, and since then, I just really feel like I can't speak up for myself. We get into, my wife died, and I've been depressed ever since. Well, yeah, you pretty understandable why you might be depressed. And as we address these things at the subconscious level, by the end of that session, you're looking back and you can't even get yourself to feel the way that you did when you first came in for the session. And those additional 2 sessions are there for the 10% of the clients that I have had that still come back and say, hey, you know what? I haven't picked up weed. I'm doing really good, but I got a little bit of anxiety or a little bit of depression still. And I was wondering if we can get that resolved. And I say, absolutely. I open up my weekends to repeat customers that have already had a session with me, and I help you get through that. I will prioritize you in my schedule for those things. So if this is something you're struggling to get over with by yourself, reach out. It's okay to ask for help.